And Read My Lips can be seen at the tramway in Glasgow until World AIDS Day on December the 1st. 23-year-old Texan trumpeter Roy Hargrove leads a generation of young Afro-American musicians currently rediscovering and redefining bebop and jazz with an assurance and an inventiveness that seems to belie their age. Hargrove was something of a child prodigy and was talent spotted by Wynton Marsalis while still at high school. He went on to form the Roy Hargrove Quintet, and here they are with the title track of their second album, Public Eye.
1, 2, 1.
Roy Hargrove with Public Eye. Tomorrow on The Late Show, Jeremy Isaacs comes face to face with the American writer and critic Susan Sontag. From me, good night.
She's absolutely up with the lark. Absolutely businesslike.
Darling, it's me. I'm coming into the office now. I'm coming to the door.
Absolutely maternal.
I've got fabulous kids who are drawn.
She's absolutely fabulous. New from Jennifer Saunders. Thursday at 9 on 2.
Fabulous, darling.
Thank you.
Now, the return of a new series of topical issues as seen behind the headlines.
Hello and welcome to a new series of Behind the Headlines, which offers, as before, 5 varieties of topical debate every afternoon and late night, Mondays to Fridays. Since we were last on the air in the new year, Britain's politicians have presided over a seemingly endless recession and confused us and themselves with a largely unread treaty which promises much but has so far delivered nothing except fame to a small city in Holland. Meanwhile, in the United States, fame for a small but wealthy businessman. Nearly 1 in 5 voters in the presidential election supported tycoon Ross Perot in preference to 2 career politicians. Would we in Britain do better with people who are successful in other fields running our affairs instead of politicians? The results of our exclusive Behind the Headlines opinion poll suggest that the British people certainly think so. The Gallup poll asked, do you think it would be a good thing or a bad thing if Mr Major were to bring in people from outside Parliament for ministerial and other government posts to help build a national recovery? An overwhelming 70% said it would be a good thing. So we went on to offer people alternatives to ministers currently in the Cabinet. For example, on the question of who to trust with Britain's industry, we offered 2 professional politicians from the biggest parties, but both lost out. Michael Heseltine, currently in charge as President of the Board of Trade, came last, chosen by only 20% of those polled. Labour's Robin Cook was not the people's choice either, because the most popular choice for the Cabinet job was businessman Richard Branson. And incidentally, in all those results, we've excluded the fairly large number of don't knows, which would make those figures add up to 100%. There's bad news for beleaguered Chancellor Norman Lamont. Only 13% think he's the person to trust with the Exchequer. Twice as many people preferred Lord Sainsbury, former head of the supermarket chain, who retired last week. But it's Labour's Shadow Chancellor Gordon Brown who tops the poll. And if the Queen decides against abdicating, there's a new career on offer for Prince Charles. We asked who would make the most capable Environment Minister. Out went the government's Michael Howard. Even fewer people wanted Labour's Jack Straw. Former Friends of the Earth chief Jonathan Porritt beats both the politicians, but he was pipped to the cabinet post by the Prince of Wales. Good news for the government, though, when it comes to international affairs. Foreign Secretary and Maastricht enthusiast Douglas Hurd keeps his job. Euro rebel and former Prime Minister Baroness Thatcher is not recalled to the cabinet. Neither is Labour's Shadow Foreign Secretary Jack Cunningham. But in this category, our outsider fared less well than those we propose for other cabinet jobs. For David Frost, it seems, being on first-name terms with world leaders in itself isn't enough. And finally, when it came to the choice for Prime Minister, after narrowly surviving the Maastricht vote, John Major still loses his job. It's Labour leader John Smith who people want to see in number 10. Sir John Harvey-Jones, Britain's most famous industrialist and BBC troubleshooter, commanded almost equal support with the Prime Minister. So only 1 in 5 of the ministers included in the Behind